Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we cover true crime. We're here covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. Buckle up, True Crime Nation. It's February 9th, 2026, and the final ransom deadline for Nancy Guthrie drops at 5 p.m. Mountain Time today. Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mom, blood on her porch. Pacemaker dead at 2:28 a.m. Family screaming, "We'll pay anything." But sheriff posting at a deputy at her Tucson property right now telling media, stay off the property. Was yesterday's quiet a calm before the storm? Search warrant at her daughter Annie's house, just 3 agents, but probable cause? My take is this is a lot closer to home than we think. So good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you. I just want to get in. I know we already have a lot of people in chat already. Guys, please do not forget, we work here off of your support, and how you guys can support the channel the most is by using the thumbs up. So we have 509 people in chat right now. If you guys would all go out there and hit that thumbs up button, I would greatly appreciate that. Usually I'm able to go through and say good morning to everybody in chat, but we've already got 606 people in chat right now. So I just want to tell the 2 folks that we have that are our prayer warriors. Oh, Dee, I see it. I missed you as well. Melanie, thank you so much. Happy Monday, Betty, Delilah, mods in chat. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Prayers to my Guthrie family, to the Guthrie family. Much love to BHB and everyone. Thank you so very much for that. And Let Them 66, another thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. Sending hugs and loves to BHB, mods in chat. Sending prayers to the Guthrie family and Nancy. Let's lift our hearts and pray for Nancy. Thank you so much again for that. And then our beautiful Dee's Mystery. It's nice to see you. Best channel ever with delicious coffee. Always on stock here. Absolutely, absolutely. Unfortunately, when we get this many people in the chat, it starts cutting off my chat. So you folks that were saying good morning to me earlier before we started our live, unfortunately, I didn't get those. So I am so sorry. Welcome to my channel. We're really trying our hardest to really break down fact from fiction with this case because, of course, you know, with sources and other things from other folks, it can start clouding, mucking up some information here. So today is a fairly, you know, tough day for everybody. As you guys know, today is February 9th, 2026, 9 a.m. Eastern. 9 days since Nancy Guthrie vanished from her quiet Catalina Foothills home in Tucson. And today, right now, the clock is ticking down to the final ransom deadline. 5 p.m. this afternoon, Mountain Time. 6 million in Bitcoin. That's what whoever took Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother wants or claims to want. Now, we're going to be doing a poll here in just a few minutes, but before we do, I do want to pan over ever so slightly. Ooh, there I am. Ever so slightly. Let's go ahead and go back to the ransom note and the young children or the siblings speaking on behalf of that. Give me just a second. Let me find. Is this it? No, this is not it. This is not it. Up. Cancel. I don't like that. Hold on just a second. It's on. I'm trying to show you guys all my stuff, especially because I just showed my email. Oopsie. Let me find out where the hell we are. We're on this one. Why is this one not showing up? Sorry, guys. My clip is missing. This card. Thank you. Let's find the clip. There it is. Sorry about that. There we go. So this is the latest clip, and many people have been analyzing this specific clip. And I have to agree with some of the analysis on this particular clip. Let's listen to it, and then we'll further discuss. Oh, good gracious. Okay, so we're having some technical issues here. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys, it does happen. We are a live show, and I am the producer of this said live show. So when we have technical issues, I am the one that has to ultimately fix the issues here. So hopefully everything is all in. So I'm not quite sure why this is not playing. There we go. I see what the problem is now. There we go. and it's still not playing. Can you guys hear that? It's not playing on my end, and I'm not sure why. Damn it. We haven't had problems like this in a really, really long time, so I'm going to try to kickstart it in gear. Give me just a second. Monitor only, mute output. I hope this is not going to make me shut it down for this. We should be having, or maybe it's, there we go. Okay, I found the problem.
Our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
Give me a...
This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Okay. Can you guys hear that? I'm sorry. I don't mean to do a sound check, but it started echoing in my ear and I had to change it. And so I want to make sure that you guys can hear it, that we're not having some issues with our sound. So I'm going to play this again. If you guys can let me know. I know you guys can hear me, but I need to make sure that you guys can hear them without it echoing. Okay, so I'm going to play it again. Let me know. I'm sorry I have to do a sound check, but usually when I just didn't have my... Can you guys hear this?
We received your message.
Can you guys hear that?
We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
And you guys can hear it now, too?
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Okay, so getting back to this, and I'm sorry for the technical issues. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you guys can. So what was being said here is in a breakdown, they said, basically we want to celebrate. It really sounded like a celebration of life. Basically them saying to the abductor that, one, we know you have our mother. We understand she's most likely gone. We want her back, and we're willing to still pay. That's the information I got off of it. And so what I really tried to do is just go and find out what some experts were saying about this statement. And it sounds like that is what we're all kind of figuring out that to be. And I think it because when you break down the words, because we knew that it wasn't as like they were very clear. Let's go back here. They were very clear in this one. Let's listen to this one. This was the first response to the ransom note.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful,
loyal, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Crimecast,
fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
I don't think so, but it's possible.
However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
So there was a big difference in this very well thought out, articulated statement to, get the attention of the abductor, humanize their mother, humanize her struggle, let them know, that they love her, they want her back. And then you go to the brother making a very brief, we haven't heard from you, please reach out to us. And then finally, the three that we just heard originally, where very short, a very cryptic message of, we hear you, we want her back to celebrate. This is very valuable to us. And somebody even said, why not she? And very good perspective. I'm not sure. Maybe because they believe she's deceased and she's no longer there. Possibility. Oh, D is Fierce just became a new member. Thank you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome, welcome. Amanda, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody that's coming in. Good morning. If you're new to this channel, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime. We're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. This is a case that has, obviously gotten the attention, a worldwide audience. And we've just been trying to break it down, trying to keep all the speculation, you guys know what speculation is and what facts are. Right now, that's not the right one. Nancy, that's not the right one at all. I don't like that. It messed up my photo. Let me get the right photo in here. The whole system's screwed up today. What the hell is going on? I don't know, folks. I don't know. It was supposed to have Nancy's face on it. I got to find the right one. And it's not. There we go. That's the one that's supposed to be there for the timeline graph. Okay. And of course, it doesn't have Nancy's face on it or my logo, which I wanted it on it. Anyways, here is the original graph. Do we have this up? Yeah, there we go. The original graph of the timeline. And it shows her leaving her house in an Uber to head over to her daughter's house at 5:32 in the afternoon. Thank you, guys. Whoever I can't see that side of the screen just yet. I'm not there. But I did want to show you guys this. This is the timeline of events. This is a better, more condensed version of the timeline of events. She went over to her mom's house at 5:32 in an Uber. A lot of people have speculated, why didn't the family just come pick her up? And what mother or what elderly lady would like to be out past 10? My neighbor personally goes to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So, and he's not as old as her, but he's, up there. He's retired and not quite 80, but he goes to bed at the same time, very scheduled. When you get up there and you get retired and you have your routines, you have a schedule. So it's very concerning in the morning hours where this assailant hung around the house for a good 41 solid minutes that we know of, that we can attribute. There is an observatory nearby. That's why the strict light ordinance. Well, that's good to know. But, for a sheriff, this is my problem, though. For a sheriff to not process a scene properly over a stupid light ordinance is ridiculous. And that's where my criticism comes in. We don't allow stupid ordinances, to dictate the health and the well-being of a human being. Okay, there's a lot of mistakes that have been had in this county, but you know what? What I can see more than anything in the world is this, and it's going to piss a lot of you guys off when I say it, and I'm sorry, but I'm a very blunt person, and you're going to have to be able to take constructive criticism. But this is leftist bullshit. Okay, these light ordinances, this, we can't put lights up for human because of our wildlife. Humans take precedent over wildlife. I just want to make sure that that's clear, okay? Human beings take precedent over wildlife. The safety and of the human life trumps any type of wildlife, and it's an abomination that I have to sit up here and state that to the whole world, because people in Arizona, in Pima County, think that animals are more important and trump the safety and the welfare of a human being. It's frustrating. Okay? And these are the kinds of stupid shit that we in the true crime community have to deal with on the regular in some of these communities, and it's frustrating. Okay? Look at all the time lost because of this stupid bullcrap. In all fairness, it's stupid. It's stupid, folks. It's just stupid. So anyways, let's get back on that. That's just my personal side note of all of this. But we need to hit the pause button, because Nancy didn't Uber home that night. She Ubered out at 5:32 to her daughter Annie's house for dinner. Now, the question is this normal and customary? Get over it, Betty. It's the way that it is. We've taken over their land. It doesn't, you don't trump, listen. Don't get me all fired up on you, because I like you, Susie, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You do not investigate when a woman's life hangs in the balance. They did not even put the lights up because of this stupid light ordinance. A woman had been kidnapped from her home, and you're not going to put lights up and do a proper investigation over what? I don't give a rat's ass what we took from those animals. Okay? I don't care. At the end of the day, human being, an investigation. Susie, you're up there in age. Are you really going to sit here and tell me that you would prefer the animals to go above you if somebody beat the shit out of you and snatched you out of your bed? That the animals are more, we should worry about the animals in your case when it's you? I'd like you to answer that, because I have a funny feeling you're not going to be telling me to get over it when you're the one getting the crap beat out of you and snatched out of your bed. You're going to tell him to turn the lights on and find you. I'm pretty confident about that. Okay? I'm pretty damn confident about that. All right. Well, you don't have to worry about coming back. Like I said, I don't expect some people to get on board with it. But at the end of the day, can somebody go ahead and since Steve Lookner, air freshener, does not like how we do things, let's make sure he can't come back here. Go ahead and block that man. You guys are more than welcome to leave, but you guys coming in here and saying something about me on my show, I'm going to tell you, you gots to go, okay? You gots to go. This is a real human being, and if you don't like reality, then you're probably part of the problem. And at the end of the day, this is an 84-year-old woman, and I think that she deserved lights, okay? I think she deserved lights. So have a great day. If you can't get on board with it, it's not my problem. You're the problem, not me. Okay? I sit up here every day and go over some of the worst crime in the world, and then I have to deal with watching some people work around some of the stupidest policies. Stupidest policies. You guys want to defund your law enforcement? Well, look how well it's done for you. We have a major case, and you guys can't even get off. You've got people that have these abilities to go out there being pulled from their job because they have internal problems. They had the best SAR investigator. Let's break this down. I'm going to get off script here this morning because we're gonna break this down for you. Okay, we had a pilot in Pima County. Okay, now we're already off the lights. Now, they didn't turn the lights on for this 84-year-old woman because of a stupid light ordinance. Let's make sure that that's clear, okay? And then we find out that it took 3 hours to get a plane in the air because they demoted their highest qualified person because of an internal problem. Okay, you don't even want me to get started on Pima County, Arizona, and my disdain for him because I like the sheriff. He's a nice guy, okay? But you know what? In law enforcement, the one thing I've learned over the years of doing this is we don't need nice people in law enforcement. We need balls and backbones in law enforcement. We need people that have the kahunas to violate light ordinances for the betterment of an 84-year-old missing woman, okay? That's what we need in the United States of America, and that is what we need in Arizona. So let's not get me started on my disdain for the policing that you guys got for that let's defund the police. Because this woman's life mattered. And it's most likely gone because of all those stupid policies. So let's get right with it. Okay? Because I'm not the one. So she got dropped back off at her place at 9:48. The garage door shuts at 9:50. Again, 2 minutes. 2 minutes is I don't know how I feel about that because, you know, I take her into consideration and the fact that she probably is not as mobile as what we would expect. But at the end of the day, 2 minutes to go, because the way I'm looking at this is she probably didn't have a clicker, right? She probably didn't have a clicker. She probably had one of those pads like we all have, right? On the outside of our garage door where you go up there and you hit a code and your garage goes up, right? So maybe this is all speculative. I want to make sure you guys know this is not factual information, but this is the way I see it because she took an Uber out. Very limited people go and grab their clicker from their vehicle and put it in their purse for their garage. How many of you guys have actually put a clicker in your purse? The only time I've ever known any woman to put a clicker in her purse is when she knows that the batteries are not working in her punch pad, right? That's about it. So I'm kind of seeing the situation where she didn't have the clicky thing, right? She probably had the punchy thing. So I'd have to assume, which assume makes an ass out of you and me, let's be honest, right? Let's assume I need a smoke. I don't smoke and I need a smoke. Well, welcome, Haunted Hallow Homestead. It's nice to see you. Or had a clicker. Well, that's what I'm saying. I know we have like clickers and stuff, but they're so bulky. Women don't put those things in their purse, okay? They just don't. So the way I look at this, the way I'm kind of, you know, seeing it, like visualizing it, is that she gets up, you know, he pulls her up to the thing, and she's got to get out of the car and go up and hit the button, you know, do like the 4 combos, and then the enter button or the pound button or whatever, and then the garage goes, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing. So the reason why it's important is because I'm not seeing her doing the clicky thing from the car. I'm seeing her physically being out at that door, punching in a button, allowing it to go up. So now we have the thing going up, and she's right there at the door, and for her to walk very slowly from that door up to the interior door to hit the button to close that garage, doesn't 2 minutes seem pretty long? If you think 2 minutes, and maybe I'm overanalyzing. It comes with the territory of what we do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So maybe I do overanalyze. But let's do a little 1-2 poll here, okay? 1 being you think that 2 minutes is normal, and 2 that you don't think that this is normal, and 3 you don't really have an opinion. Let's do 1, 2, and 3. 1 that it's perfectly normal to take 2 minutes to get from the garage to the interior door. 2, you don't think that it's normal, that you think it's pretty lengthy, and 3, you just don't have an opinion on it or don't know one way or the other. We'll give you a third so I can get a good gauge of my audience. So, and we have another poll coming up that we will actually poll through the polling stuff. I think so. So we got 1, 2. So some people think that this is normal. Okay. We got a couple people that doesn't. So for the most part, you guys think 2 minutes is normal. She could have dropped something. Yeah. I mean, there are some variables with it. And there's some people okay. We got a couple 3s here. Okay. Well, that's why I gave you the 3, because I just wanted a good gauge of the audience. So we got some kind of mix. We got a real mix of stuff. So we're in between 1, 2, and 3. So I guess maybe that would be the way I'm reading the poll, is maybe I did overanalyze that a little bit, but it's definitely interesting. Let's see what Lisa says. It says could she have dropped something, taken leftovers? Possibly, in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Thank you for that. There's a lot of possibilities. I think that could be derived from the 2 minutes, but just on the step alone, because it's late, so I'm thinking she gonna want to try to get in that house and start getting wound down for bed, I would presume, but I can't be, 100 on that, But anyways, let's get on with it. So she gets there. The garage finally does start going down. Let's get the timeline up. Well, I'm going to get the graph timeline up so you guys can follow with me here. And then, of course, everything seems to be normal. We don't hear anything. There's nothing abnormal that's noted by law enforcement. Now, granted, this timeline we're getting from law enforcement, so it's a tight speculation until we can get some journalists out there moving from those scenes. But right now, they're locked in for any possible twist and turn. It's not a good time for them to start doing investigative work if they're out there by themselves. So normal night. Then everything starts popping right about this 1:47 in the morning. The doorbell goes offline. 2:12. The motion is detected that a person is at a camera, but there's no subscription, so you don't get to see it. 2:28 is when her pacemaker app completely disconnects from her phone, and this tells me that this is when her physical self was removed from that property. Whether she was deceased or alive at the time, I don't know. Only that pacemaker app might have some of those details in it. By noon, the family called 911, and on that porch, her blood. There was blood on the porch, missing front cameras. It appears that there must, from everything that we're gathering from law enforcement, that there was a struggle inside the home. And you have to understand, this is a frail woman. She can walk, and get around, but she can't go 50 yards without assistance, whether it's a cane, a walker, or somebody else helping her. She has a pacemaker. She has meds that keep her alive daily. The idea that she wandered off is not possible. They identify her as being sharp as a tack. No, Alzheimer's or any type of forgetfulness. Nothing that you would equate to forgetfulness, dementia, Alzheimer's, those type of ailments. They're saying no, she's sharp as a tack, has complete mental acuity. She knows what she's doing. She knows where she's at, and she's smart as a whip. And I have to trust that. I have to think that if for any reason they did have some type of issue going on, that they would be bringing that up, because that would be ultra, ultra, ultra important. And so, at this house, we had the investigators there. We had investigators all around this house doing investigative work. As you see, there's rocks out there. They had to go through all of this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. That's why it was so incredibly shocking when the sheriff released this property back quickly. That's the big problem here. It's why did he release this back so quickly when we had so much to go over? This is a huge house. We know that the FBI, that they went back to this property several times, okay? They did not just close this property down as a crime scene once. They did it 3 separate times, and it really upset many of us. It upset many of us because at the end of the day, we expect professionalism from our law enforcement, not a rushed situation, not a situation where they felt rushed. And I feel like that was the absolute case in this, is that they did feel rushed to release this crime scene. Why? Who was rushing law enforcement from Pima County to release this to the family? I don't think it was the family. So it tells me that some of the neighbors or the community people didn't want this, wanted this to be buttoned up and cleaned up as quickly as possible. That's not how you run investigations. Something seriously happened to this lady. Something majorly happened to this lady. First time viewer, I subbed up immediately. I love your vibe. Oh, thank you, Lydia. I appreciate that. Did Nancy have an Uber app? That's a great question. These are all questions that we have not been provided answers on. And by the way, we are definitely getting to some of the comments and perspectives in this show. If this show carries on for 4 hours, it carries on for 4 hours. We'll be here, folks. We're just watching some of the live broadcast from the, this was the day that they were doing some original searches of the house, and it was captured on live. So we're just going to run that while we go over some of the details of this case. We have Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos calls it straight abduction. Crime scene, FBI is in with a $50,000 reward. And then, of course, yesterday, quiet on the surface, but a search warrant that hit daughter Annie's secondary property, or at this family's secondary property. So we have Nancy as the primary property, and her daughter's house is only 4.3 miles away, about 10 minutes from their mom's house. That's also a secondary location now. And there's been some gas stations identified in between these two homes, which is very concerning as well. But with just 3 agents going to Annie Guthrie's house and the garage lights flashing, bedrooms checked, I am kind of walking back my full CSI statement that I made yesterday with some of the statements from one of the content creators out there saying that they saw an alternative light source, possibly a blue or black light. But when I found out the details of only 3 agents going to Annie Guthrie's house, I now know that it's not the full CSI circus, but probable cause that got them through the door. Why there? Why family turf? And today, the sheriff posted a deputy at Nancy's house warning media to respect the property rights and stay off, which is pretty interesting because we've had eyeballs out there, and I'm not seeing anybody on her property, so I don't know where this new statement of people going out there. Is this to protect the scene, or is it really to block prying eyes, I can almost understand the Uber. Maybe he was still busy with work or something, and Annie was cooking, but why would he take her home and not Annie? It's so weird. Exactly. Unless Annie may have problems driving at night. But again, why didn't they send her home in an Uber like they did? In any other time, if we've seen a son-in-law take his mother-in-law home and walk her in the door, we would think that that's like one of the most respectful things that a son-in-law can do to a mother-in-law. Let's be honest, right? And then we find out that she's missing, and it makes you wonder what. And then, of course, we want to know why was she at that dinner? Is this normal? Like, I'm starting to feel like maybe this dinner wasn't normal. Maybe they were talking to her about some financial problems and she was unwilling to help, and maybe it upset the husband. But that's just one of many working theories. There's another working theory that we all know too well, and that's this theory of this ransom. This could be a real live ransom case, although it seems so unorganized, not professionally done. Some people I heard are like, oh, they're so professional. It's like, huh? Like, I'm not getting a professional. Like, they didn't have the note left there. They didn't send it over to the family first. They didn't send it to her work. They sent it to 2 local news stations and TMZ. And the only reason why they sent it to TMZ is because the two local stations were keeping it under wraps and they wanted it to be known that there was a ransom note. You know, that is one thing that they did want to know. They wanted to know that if it was a ransom note, right? So now we have the ransom angle, multiple notes to media and family. Demands escalated to $6 million in Bitcoins today at 5. Creepy details. Her broken backyard floodlight. Her Apple Watch. She's safe but scared statement that Harvey Levin stated. They know the house. FBI's chasing proof of life. None public. One hoaxer busted. Derek Kalia, is that right? How I pronounce it? Kalia? From California, fake texts to Annie and her husband about Bitcoin drops and locations, but others serious enough for a deadline, and the USD phrasing, that really smells of a foreign troll. So experts say that's weird domestically, smells foreign, but no van on CCTV, no screams, no trace of crew grabbing a grandmother near a border, you know? So it's really, really crazy what we're dealing with when we're dealing with this whole situation with Nancy Guthrie and her whereabouts and timeline. So we're nearing that deadline. We're hearing USD, which, let's face it, if we're here, even Mexico's not using USD, okay? So this is like the most telling of it all for me, is that this is most likely a foreign actor. Somebody overseas that saw this story, capitalized on it, used a VPN, is targeting the family. I mean, this is potential. We don't know for a fact, but it is potential that it's possible that this is a foreign actor with the USD. Who writes that? If you are a United States citizen and you are a person that's part of a ransom ring, you're not going to use USD. You're going to say $6 million. It's $6 million in whatever currency you're abducting in. Who needs the USD? It sounds so troll-like. It sounds so staged. Such a strange case for sure. Absolutely. What about someone calling and saying she didn't show up for church? That's another, a Purple Beach, that is another area of contention for me, because it's still, there's a few things that really point to Annie and or her husband. And I'm going to include Annie in this because from everything we know, they're married. So if they're having financial problems, they're both having financial problems, okay? Which, you know, I really do believe money is a motivation here. I believe that it is a motivation here. Is it the only motivation? I don't know, but I do believe it is a motivation. We did learn she didn't go to church. So we have a few things that are really pointing to them. First and foremost, we heard Harvey Levin talk about the letter being perfect grammar. Perfect sentence structure. And we hear that, and then we realize we got 2 teachers and 2 writers and 2 poets. And you're talking about 2 people that would be highly informed and highly engaged in proper grammar, punctuations, and sentence structure. Okay? So we have that statement right there. And many people said, what about AI? Yes, AI can do it, but what if not? Okay? These are the reasons why we kind of think that this is kind of going toward more into that secondary family compound home, is because of this very thing, this whole church scenario. That has been walked back. We heard it was from somebody calling her that she didn't show up for church. Well, how do they know that she didn't show up for church if she's online? Okay, we just had church on Sunday. I guarantee you would probably not know who all is in Sunday church by the lack of conversation. But I can tell you there are more people watching than there are writing. Okay, when you're watching church on your TV, you're not commenting in chat. You're only commenting in chat if you're on your phone or on your computer, right? So that doesn't really tell anybody anything. So it comes back to this also pointing out to the family that these people are, you know, what made them go show up at that house the next day, if not for somebody calling them from the church saying she didn't show up. And then we find out that she's going to online church. And then we're like, okay, so who the hell called? Or did anybody call? Is that just their excuse to go call law enforcement on their missing mother? You know, this is the spin. This is the spin. This is not good. Now, I would like to just take a step back again and just remind everybody that here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, when we come up with our theories and we follow the case and the leads and we know for a fact that somebody, we have no problem naming them. I don't care if law enforcement hasn't named them as a suspect. It's got us, you know, people don't like that we do that, but we do that here on this show. So don't ever think that I would not do that if it warranted it. With that being said, I do want to remind everybody, nobody has been publicly named as a suspect or a person of interest in this case. We are the court of public opinion, okay? Everybody in a regular court has due process and are innocent until being proven guilty in a court of law. But like I said, we are not a court of law. We are the court of public opinion. We do analyze these factors, even as uncomfortable as they may be for the family. We dive in. And this one is showing a promising possible person of interest, which I have to agree at minimum is a person of interest. Annie as well. Now, everybody keeps talking about the husband. I have to include Annie. I don't want to include Annie in this, but if it's her husband, then there may be a possibility that she has knowledge, and that's why she's being involved in this whole thing. I'm not limiting it to just her husband, but I'm not accusing either one of them either. I'm saying that we have a profile of a person that I believe it may be, and the family, whether it be Tommaso or Annie, they fit this. But I also want to remind you, so do house workers, right? So do the landscaper, so does the house cleaner, so does the caretaker of Miss Nancy. You know, somebody comes in there and takes her blood pressure and makes sure that she's okay and makes sure she's got everything she needs and cleans her home. She's not able to clean a 3,000 square foot home. So she's got somebody that comes in there. So there are multiple people that would fit the bill that we're looking for here. But right now, everything's kind of looking over at Tommaso and Annie, okay? I'm not doing it. That's where law enforcement is focusing this investigation because they're the ones going over there executing search warrants, okay? So obviously the people that are running this investigation are saying that might be a hot spot and a potential place of interest. So I just want to point that out. I am going for this show going to be talking as if they are or have been accused. And I think that just kind of keeps us with the conversations that are being had right now. But this is all speculative in nature. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that because social media is lit up on TikTok, Reddit, X, and of course YouTube. Eyes are locked in on Tommaso Cioni, and that's Annie's husband, as part of this drop-off crew at 9:48. And we're hearing originally that they dropped her off. And then as information started really honing in on a specific person, we realized that Tammaso was the only one that dropped Annie's mother off at her home at 9:48. And then, of course, we learn on Ashley Banfield on News Nation, but this was on her private channel, Drop Dead Serious. She brings up a prime suspect potential in Tommaso Cioni, that one of her exceptional sources had stated that he may be a prime suspect. So ex-CIA whisper, suit up, gloved insider, cleaned scene, inheritance buzz. That's what we're hearing. His silence till CCTV cleared him on a car tip. Rumors grow legs. Sheriff calls, early naming, reckless. But no one is cleared, and the family cooperates. But that warrant on Annie's spot, probable cause doesn't lie. And this is where we're getting into what are we doing? Law enforcement is running multiple tracks. Ransom team tracing wallets, insider squad grilling timelines, smart, but Occam's razor slices clean. The killers near and dear. son-in-law, family circle, someone who knew the garage code, that flashlight was out, that floodlight was out, every vulnerability, fragile target, midnight window, no forced entry mess. It screams insider job. Because again, nobody's willing to say that there was a forced entry, and a door being ajar in the back does not equate to forced entry. Then the ransom hits. No, not the cause, the cover. 2 paths. Killer seems media buzzing ransom note. Post disappearance. Think about it. The ransom note is post disappearance, not left there, not sent a note to the daughter or her channel or station. Nothing. Everybody's saying, what? No ransom note? No, nothing like that. And then boom, we got a ransom note a day or so later, like within 24 hours of everybody screaming, where's the ransom note? Where's the ransom note? This whole case is super fishy. I agree. I agree hands down. Super, super fishy. Super, super fishy. So this is the perfect smokescreen. Fake ones that derail cops toward overseas ghost, or third-party opportunists spot, no note chatter, no body, viral case, cha-ching, cha-ching, let me cash in with the Bitcoin, right? And then we still have no proof of life. Have they even checked for foreign pings? How many other hoax arrests have been made? Or was it just the one guy in Los Angeles? Is this distraction theater? That is my question. Who believes this is distraction theater, that the ransom is a red herring? If you believe, actually, you know what? Let me put it. Do I have the poll ready? I've got a poll. There's a poll that's coming up, and I don't know where I put it into my show. It's coming up soon. We're not quite there yet. So we're screaming insider job. We hear this whole ransom hit. We're hearing that this is for a Bitcoin payoff, but they're using USD, which is telling us that this is an overseas hack. This is a high-profile case. President Trump's very strong clues to have answers soon. And then, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel wheels are going to be touching Tucson today, although pre-planned, but personal updates are going to be most likely coming out of the FBI very, very soon from Kash Patel. Resources are surging in the area because this case has gone viral. Viral is good in cases like this. Not necessarily good for law enforcement, but it's good because it's pumping resources into the case. The more high-profile case you have, the more resources that will be thrown at that case. And that's why when we get a hold of a case, we try our hardest to get it as high-profile as possible, because in a lot of cases, this one, she had, at least she had a famous daughter. It helps get the case off the ground. But a lot of these cases, when we're coming in, most of these families are not known. We have to create the firestorm to get them viral. And this one already kind of came with it. So it was, that part of it wasn't as difficult to get off the ground. But again, we were quiet yesterday. Why? Are there insiders, are there family members lawyering up? There's deputies at the house. The scene appears to be locked down. And we're hearing rumors that it's possible that Tammaso turned down a polygraph test to boot. So now we're crossing 9 days. Nancy can't survive without meds. The family is begging, we'll pay, we'll do whatever it takes. But my gut, your own true crime instinct, do you think this is closer to home or not? Is the ransom a red herring exploited by murder or greed, a tag-along, a third party, somebody that's not even known to the family? And then we get back to Annie's warrant. This is a game changer. This is the catalyst, in my opinion. Law enforcement never puts all their eggs into one basket. They launch parallel tracks to avoid tunnel vision, each with dedicated teams, analysis, forensic, and interviews. Now let me get the poll up. We got a poll that is upcoming, and I don't know. Can I do a poll here? Let's see if we can do a poll. We can do a poll. Okay, here we go. Why isn't it not typing? Uh-oh, it's not typing. Is this closer? How do I want to write this? Oversee opportunistic troll or legitimate. Okay, we got it. Okay. So we're going to say, let's go backwards. Legitimate ransom. Let's go down to the next one. And then one more. And it's closer. Okay. We have officially started the poll. You guys should be seeing the poll at the top. Is this closer to home than many might think? Overseas opportunistic. Hold on, let me read this. Okay. Opportunistic troll or legitimate ransom. Folks, you guys have been called into action. We have a legitimate poll. I'd like to hear what your response is with this poll. It's very, very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and get back to this whole situation where they are doing two simultaneous cases. Law enforcement, again, never puts all of their eggs into one basket. The parallel track is to avoid tunnel vision. Ransom theory track, FBI verifies notes, floodlight details, screams insider knowledge, traces Bitcoin wallet, demands proof of life, none public yet. A hoaxer has been arrested, but the USD phrasing hints to foreign actor, possibly not even US based. Deadline is today at 5. Family is ready to pay, but no confirmation. Kidnapper has her. Exploitation risk. Murderer sends fake notes to muddy water. Now we also have a second path for a theory, which is the son-in-law and this insider track, which focuses on drop crew. And they're really focusing, and it seems by their actions, law enforcement actions, that they're looking at Annie and Tommaso Cioni, Annie Guthrie and Tommaso Cioni's home. The day before, search warrant of Annie's secondary property just 4 miles away, with just 3 agents processing the garage flashes and the bedrooms. Doesn't appear to be a full CSI sweep, but probable cause does exist for that collection, and that's what's concerning. It suggests that evidence is linked either by phone, CCTV footage, or some other evidence, because remember, they took her car into evidence days prior to this search of her home. But no massive team, no targeted. This was kind of not a scene overhaul, but it seemed like they were in there for a purpose. Cops don't chase unicorns. They run parallel investigations like Detective Octopus. The FBI is dissecting notes demanding $6 million in Bitcoins, this floodlight detail from the scene, but the USD screams possible foreign troll, and today's deadline with no proof of life yet. Are they going to pay? We don't know. We know Derek was already busted in Los Angeles for this fake hoax by trying to impersonate the impersonators, right? And so a search warrant at Annie Guthrie's house 4 miles away, the garage lit up, the bedrooms checked, but only 3 agents, not a full forensic, no tents. This is what we're used to when we're dealing with a full CSI scene. We're dealing with tents, canine everywhere. But there was probable cause that was sworn in a court of law, and it was that warrant was provided by a judge, meaning evidence linked to the crime of some sort, whether it was evidence bearing from the car, phone ping, witnesses, or remember, they went to a gas station and there was an unknown male just a day or so before going in and checking this house. Could they have gotten video footage and seen Tommaso on it? This is concerning AF. Why secondary family turf if random kidnapping? This might suggest a digital trail or items transferred to the secondary location, folks. And that's the reality of the situation that we are dealing with. So let's go ahead and get through some other stuff that I have here that I thought would be interesting to you. We have Banfield obviously gives information about the camera and possible suspect in the case, which ended up being we'll have to get back to this. Let me put this at the end. I want to talk to you guys about Sebastian Rogers. So here we have the doorbell missing.
Like there is a mount for a now missing doorbell camera, which could very well have spotted Guthrie's kidnapper or kidnappers. But the sheriff said investigators, they were poring over video evidence, but he didn't say that that camera was part of it. So that makes me wonder if whoever took Nancy Guthrie also took that camera when they fled. Does that maybe show a level of sophistication, planning, foresight? Is this professional in some way? What is clear is that this is a devastating situation for all of those who know Nancy. Savannah Guthrie's co-workers were emotional as they pleaded for Nancy's safe return on the Today Show this morning. You had anchor Carson Daly saying, quote, "I've never prayed for anything harder in my life." And as for Savannah, NBC confirmed that she would not be hosting the Olympics this year, saying she would be using that time to focus on her family amid this tragedy.
Walk up to the house behind me. And keep in mind, this is no longer a crime scene. I mean, the sheriff made clear that it is no longer a crime scene, that they released.
This is shocking that they released this. And Brian, I think, has the same sentiments of everybody relating to this. And you're going to hear that because this was so problematic for many of us. Like we've been on so many different cases and so many different crime scenes that we're used to a certain protocol being, happening. I mean, look at the Idaho 4. They had that locked down for over a year and a half, okay? And they were here for a few hours and opened it back up, and they left evidence viewable for a news broadcaster? I mean, this, again, the sheriff is nice. I don't want to be too, hard on him, but this is unacceptable, folks. It really is. This was bad. This was bad.
A crime scene. I mean, the sheriff made clear that it is no longer a crime scene, that they released it yesterday, and there hasn't really been anyone out here. There was a woman who came earlier today, I don't know if it was a family member, but anyway, several different people, including one of my photographers, went up to knock on the door just to see if anyone was home, because obviously that's like what we do, and it's no longer a crime scene. And you could see up at the door, this video, you could see that there was blood.
This should have never been available for the public.
Near the doormat and just on the ground near the entryway into the house, which is pretty disturbing. There had been reports that there was blood found at the house, and it's pretty clear that this is blood right outside the front door.
So we have blood literally strewn about. We've got the, investigators there looking at a bunch of stuff. You can still see right up here the camera or whatever it is with the this solar panel type thing. And they're just getting up on the back to take all this stuff down.
Tonight, day 8 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. It comes with new clues and new questions and more activity by authorities at more than one location.
Plus, the next deadline spelled out in a ransom note is less than 24 hours away. Fox 10's Megan Spector is live in Tucson with the very latest for us tonight. Megan, what is happening out there today?
There is now a Pima County.
Guys, we have over 1,600 people in chat. If you guys could please hit the thumbs up button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Everybody always wants to know how they can help. It's free to help. Just hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. And it's also free to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any further updates on the Nancy Guthrie case. We run about 2 to 3 shows a day on this particular case because it's breaking and everybody is tuned into it. So if it's something that you would like to discuss, your perspectives, also my perspectives on the case and where it's going, I'd greatly appreciate it. Yeah, there can be multiple people, yeah.
Right now. Well, today we can see the deputies are still out here outside of Nancy's home. We're learning today from the Sheriff's Department. They say the deputies will actually stay out here at the request of the Guthrie family for security purposes. But earlier today, a much more active scene. So take a look at this video. This is from the Fox flight team. Deputies were here this morning searching a nearby septic tank, and video shows authorities are using a pole inside a manhole behind the property. Now, a search last night at Annie Guthrie's home had investigators there for at least 3 hours. Flashes were seen inside the home, which appeared to be investigators taking photos, and they were bringing items out of the
Crystal.
house. That comes after the Guthries posted their 3rd video to social media, this time in response to an alleged ransom note agreeing to pay.
We received your message, and we understand.
You can kind of just see on their face, they know their mom's gone. Just sad.
Department and the FBI have gained national...
It was important to note it has not been confirmed if these messages are legitimate. However, a Tucson TV station that received these messages has reportedly, they said that there's a deadline to make a $6 million transfer by 5 p.m. Monday. Law enforcement has not confirmed that ransom amount. Now, we also want to say the Sheriff's Department has continued to reiterate that they do not have any suspects at this point, but we are continuing to follow up and ask them if there are any...
I don't believe there's no suspects. I believe in the first 48, and of course we know about the manhole.
Guthrie was first reported missing. Pima County Sheriff's deputies and their
If you guys were here yesterday, you guys will know I'm not very happy that this right here is happening. This to me is investigation 101. This should have all been checked day one. Day one, this is when all this stuff, at least that's been the experience that I've seen on investigations that I've watched. These things are checked very, very, very close up front. But again, we got a lot of wonky people over there in Pima County that thinks light ordinance trump the safety and well-being of an 84-year-old grandmother. So I think their priorities are a little skewed, if you ask me.
Investigators were back out at Nancy's home, this time searching in the area behind her home. We saw investigators take a long pole and appear to search what may have been a septic tank. Investigators staying at the property for a little less than an hour searching, but eventually leaving empty-handed. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says they will continue to search multiple locations until they find an answer.
And this is from her own Today Show. So the Today Show, as you know, Nancy Guthrie is a co-host on. This is one of her co-hosts. This has got to be very hard for her, for them. And this gentleman here was supposed to go to the Winter Olympics and step down from the Winter Olympics because his co-host couldn't go. I thought that was... It's just sad, but sweet.
Let's drill down some of these times and what, if anything, we can glean from them. What stands out to you, and how could this inform the investigation moving forward?
A timeline, you talk to any investigator, you talk to anybody that's trying to solve a crime, is one of the most critical pieces that you have to establish. And there's some really interesting information on this. The first one being, you know, when these security cameras, the first security camera is taken off the door there. That is a critical moment because that indicates that's when the crime starts.
At 1:47.
At 1:47. 1:47, the doorbell camera disconnects. That's a critical moment. 2:12, software detects a person on a camera. Now, you might be sitting there saying, well, wait a minute, you just told me that they took the doorbell camera off the door. According to the sheriff, there are multiple cameras that were at the home.
And again, another statement that was made by Ashley Banfield. Multiple cameras that were originally denied and declined to have been part of this. Thank you for all the new people that are subscribing. I do appreciate your subscription, and I hope you guys are getting some good information out of this. And Susan reminds us Bitcoin is traceable. Thank you for that information.
Interview with Sheriff Nanos about the search for Nancy Guthrie. One of the things we discussed, clues in cyberspace. Whether we're talking about a ransom note or crucial evidence, technology has changed the game of solving a complex case like this.
It's technology that's going to really help us solve this case.
When Sheriff Nanos started his career, DNA was the groundbreaker. Today, cell phone pings, apps that track our daily movements, and especially video, have multiplied the cache of clues.
They now have tools and resources that were well beyond what we had when I was in homicide. But the game is the same.
But the sheriff tells me that tech is not one size fits all. The Guthrie case has its own challenges, including the rustic landscape of Catalina foothills.
Some of the neighborhoods we have around here are little cookie cutter houses, ring bells everywhere. Streets are clear and clean and you can see it.
But let me guess, no lights? No lights? Apparently, Arizona doesn't believe in safety lights for their elderly population. Just saying how stupid that is.
This neighborhood's different, and it's not much different than a lot of our neighborhoods. Very thick vegetation, nice homes sitting back on acreage of lots. So those ring cameras, though they exist, may not capture exactly what we're hoping for. But that's an environment we've worked in forever. Okay. It's a challenge. We'll find.
All right, let's move on then. If we're going to get this, because we have an update that's going to be happening at 1 p.m. We will be scheduled in for that update, folks. We will be scheduled in for that update at 1 p.m. We're not going to do it from here. Just reminder, no named suspects. Purported second Nancy Guthrie ransom deadline looms today. That was what this is all about. And what else do we have? Okay, we are going to go into the spot where we discuss some of the perspectives on this case. Now, as you see, Sebastian's Army, this is another group we have. I do want to make a statement here. It came to my attention that Christopher Proudfoot is threatening people that while they're in their normal course of life, if they see, say, Katie out, they snap a picture. I just want to remind everybody that's completely lawful and legal to do on public property. He also accused people that by somehow posting to our very public group that somehow is going to jeopardize my livelihood. It will not. You are more than welcome to always post anything on my Facebook that you want. You have a First Amendment right to post anything you want. Let's not forget the Constitution in all of this. And I want to make sure that you guys are not feeling threatened not to share or post information that might be relevant to an active and ongoing investigation for a missing boy. Furthermore, we will be out in Sumner County for an entire week. Okay? Unfortunately, I was going to start on the 23rd, but we got a room. Our room is not even going to be available until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 23rd. So the 23rd, I will not be out there. I might come by, by the time I get out there, it's going to be 5 o'clock. It's going to be too late to do anything. So we'll be out there the 24th, the 25th, the main event on the 26th, which is his 2-year milestone, and the 27th. We will not be bullied. We will not be threatened. The protective orders go both ways, and I want to remind everybody the reason why we have these protective orders is because Chris and Katie lied under oath saying I threatened them with a gun and a machete, and then goes to court and says I've never talked to them, talked about them, or anything, that they just didn't like what I'm saying on my channel, which is a violation of the First Amendment. So they lied under oath to get those protective orders. I'm going to sue the shit out of them in a court of law for their violation of law, them lying under oath. They know it's coming. It's not like this rocket science thing that everybody doesn't know. Even the courts know. That's why they're dragging their ass on bringing my court case to fruition, because they know everything's coming to a head and they need to let it go. Everybody looks like a pile of shit in Sumner County for no good reason. But we will be out there. I will not be intimidated. And God forbid they put their hands on me yet again. I'm just going to tell the county out there, keep your grubby hands off me. I have a right to work in your county, and you will not intimidate me. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And Chris might get himself in a lot of hot water himself if he keeps throwing threats my way, because there's only going to be so much I take before I start filing these in the court. I haven't filed anything in the court or at the sheriff's office. But don't forget, I will be there, and I will be happy to start filing stuff. But don't ever take some idiots threats as a way not to, or to feel intimidated that you can't do something. You are absolutely lawful to take, and there's no way in the world that you can be, if you're not, now if you're following them around, yeah, you could be caught for stalking. I would definitely not do that. But if you see them out and about in your normal custody, you're absolutely allowed to take photos from public property, public roadway. If they're out in the public, there ain't a freaking thing that they can do about it. Get smart with the law, understand your rights, and don't allow some hothead that wants to cover up the fact that his wife most likely murdered the stepchild. You know, that's where we're at. And we're going to be breaking this case down very, very publicly in the broad light, in the daylight, in the sunshine, like we call it here in the state of Florida, out there in front of Sumner County. I have every right to be there. I have every right to do what I want to do. And there is not a damn thing that anybody's going to do about it. Okay? We went through the proper protocols to be able to be out there. We've already let everybody know when the event was going to be months ago. So don't ever feel intimidated by that piece of shit. Okay? So I want to make sure that we are very, very ultra clear. So if you guys want to post on my channel, don't ever feel you're getting me in trouble. I don't control you, and you don't control me. Post away. Post away. All right. Now we're going to get on to, as I promised each and every one of you, we would go over perspectives. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to our emails. We had some major issues going on yesterday. So we're going to start off right here. And it says, I thought about this possible motive might be in this case. And we know Annie and her husband make way less money than Savannah and Camron. Nancy had her late husband's pension coming in, and that could be the reason. Also, we have done any digging to see if she had recently updated any wills or had life insurance policies added. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. The reason I don't feel this is a true ransom case is because is that you would take their medication because you need them alive, or what to say, because their being alive is your meal ticket. You can use my name. I'm not scared at all. Justice for Nancy and Sebastian. Thank you. Thank you, Allie. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know I could use your name. Okay, Allie sent that if you guys didn't know. Let's keep going, keep going, keep going. Who else do we have? Okay, that's not. Thank you. Don't forget, we have Substack. Let me do Nancy. Oh, let's just do Guthrie. No, let's do Nancy. Let's see what we got for Nancy. Okay, here we go. Must watch Troy. Thank you, Troy. So we have something from Troy. MS Now has host taken aback criminology unpacked latest. Let me see what this is. Let's see what we got here. This is from Troy in Australia.
Now,
let's see what this is about. Thank you for the Australia folks that watch this
all
channel.
Comes after a
Let me put this up here. Up.
Series of notes sent to a local TV station and TMZ. One that was sent on Tuesday was a ransom note. We know it had two deadlines, one for Thursday at 5 p.m., a different deadline looming tomorrow, and it demanded a certain amount of Bitcoin. That ransom note included some details about a broken floodlight in Nancy Guthrie's home, details about the placement of a smartwatch in.
I gotta tell you, the floodlight was noticeable. The smartwatch might have been guessed. I mean, I think we could reasonably guess some things. Let me see if I missed anything here. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just check. God, burn it. Okay, I got nothing there. Let me go into my. I just want to make sure I forgot to check my mod squad thing. So here we go. Whistleblower leaks. Whistleblower leaks Savannah Guthrie's ties to Epstein, mom's kidnapping, inside job. We know that she did interview some of the Epstein victims, or one specific Epstein victim, and people have brought that up, but I don't know if that's specifically something that is, but we have to look at all angles here. But we do know about this ransom, and now we're learning that it had USD, $6 million USD, which tells me potentially a foreign actor. So we're going to keep off that premise. What else do we have? Professor Nez regarding the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Have you seen this? This case is getting weird. Let's see what this is. How long is it first?
Okay, I've got so many questions. This isn't right. This is...
Okay, let's bring this over. See what this is about. Sorry, my computer is just, it's always so slow since I put this OBS on my system. Sorry. But I like the OBS better. I'm sorry, I do. I even though it's a little frustrating, it's been a learning curve to get all this stuff done, I like it better. I think it's a quality production, much better than StreamYard.
Weird, this is odd. I said it from day one. Something about the videos from Savannah Guthrie and her family just seems so weird to me.
I think they seem weird to everybody. Let's see what we got next.
Like this weird cryptic coded language or what have you. And then this latest video is just even more bonkers. Now the latest, I'm looking right now at the live feed as I'm recording this. They're now like digging around Nancy Guthrie's home. You've got investigators doing new searching and excavating around the home. We don't know what.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I forgot about that yesterday, folks. There was some information getting back to Nancy's house where we were looking at the, I was upset about the manholes and finally checking the manholes. That's like one, just like investigation 101. Well, we found out that they were bringing out and starting to actually dig the ground somewhere around. Like, this is starting to get really weird. Like, there is no time. 45 minutes is not enough time to be digging a hole and putting somebody in it. I mean, if we are starting to dig the earth, then we need to be expanding the time. Are we sure? Are we absolutely positive she disappeared this time? I mean, we've been focused on this time, but there are indicators that she had the Uber. They had to have talked to the Uber driver. The Uber driver would have definitely confirmed that she was in the car. So I think that's kind of far-fetched, but you never know. But you got to ask. But why the excavation equipment? I forgot about that. I did read that when they were out there doing the checks for the manholes and the septic, which again should have been done the first few days. Fresh dug shallow grave would have been noticed. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what's up with all this digging that they're doing, but I heard that they brought some equipment out there.
What's going on to this day? Okay, I've got a lot to share with you, and I need your help because I think there might be some kind of connection here between the missing of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, and Epstein. But first, I got receipts. And I can't say this conclusively. I'm just going to say this right off. You guys know that I pride myself on my transparency. I can't say this conclusively, but the evidence warrants this type of video, and it
warrants scrutiny. I think anything does absolutely warrant scrutiny. But I think that we need, I think Epstein, but again, she just broke down and talked about her ex-husband that she hadn't talked about in 2 decades. Let's not forget that. right? So she had 2 decades with, or 2 decades that she's been split from her first husband. And she was only married to her first husband, which was a well-known producer for BBC and over across the pond. His name is Mark Orchard. Apparently, it must have been a very toxic type of relationship or something like that, because at the end of the day, they divorced not even 4 or 5 full years later. And it took her 2 decades to finally discuss this small window of time. And she did that like on January 24th. That was more in proximity than this Epstein drop, in my opinion. And the Epstein drop, she wasn't anybody that had insider information. She only interviewed some of the victims in this case. So I don't know if I'm all in on that angle either. I really don't. I have to be honest with you. I'm not sure if I'm really all in on that angle. We do have the Deception Detective. Deception Detective I have watched. And the Deception Detective basically has stated that he does not believe, which I don't believe, that Savannah Guthrie has anything to do with this. I don't believe her brother has anything to do with this, but I can't determine whether Annie is involved or not. I do feel like the brother-in-law / son-in-law is hitting all the boxes in the right spot, but he's been her muse. He's been her best manifesto, according to her own statements. So much like Katie Proudfoot, willing to sell her child's soul to the devil to appease her new husband, you know, I feel is that kind of what we're dealing with her and him. Again, it's hard here because you're talking about Savannah Guthrie being famous and really the oldest daughter being in the shadows of both her older brother and her younger sister. She was kind of the outlier in the family, you know. Her brother did very, very well, went into the military, became this fighter pilot. He obviously, before Savannah got her opportunity, her brother was the pride and joy of the family, as you can imagine, being in the military, you know, getting his filer. So long story short, it just seems like him and Savannah did really well for themselves. And then you got Annie and her husband, which are kind of like hippie, salt of the life, you know, they look like pot smokers, you know, don't look like they're really invested in their life. But they are, you know, we hear that he's dedicated to 6th graders. He has a part-time teaching job. He is a poet. He's a musician. And he helps Annie, you know, do her poetry and stuff like that. Those type of people, right? So they're not making a whole lot of money, but they're living a larger lifestyle. They're living in a $650,000 home. You know, can somebody that's making under $90,000 a year pay for a $650,000 home? Maybe, but I don't. The middle child, because the brother's the oldest and Savannah's the youngest, so she is the middle child. I heard one of her husband was on the list. It might very well be because, again, she did talk about Mark Orchard, and literally days before her mother disappeared for forever. So I'm not specifically like just completely eyeballs on Tammaso, you know, or Annie, because it could, there's a wide net here in my opinion. And nothing I've seen has really, you know, shortened that net. Even that ransom letter that we believe is from overseas, this might be why it's so properly, ooh. Oh, let's get to the poll. How many people played the poll? We only had 383 votes for the poll with 1,200 people in chat. What is going on with you folks? Guys are not very engaging. Interesting. All right. So we did a poll. It looks like 74% is closer to home. So it seems like the majority of our audience believes that this is closer to home. And I'm going to go with that because I think that that's accurate. And I know there's been several polls done by multiple different content creators and otherwise, and they speak, they're all doing the polls, and there are a lot of people that truly do believe that this is a lot closer to home than what we know. You put it up twice, Did I? Oops, I didn't mean to. Sorry. Maybe that's the problem. Well, we'll check it. That's okay. So let's get back to my, so the search warrant at Annie Guthrie's home, 4 miles away from Nancy, that really has been, if I have to guess, folks, if I had to really guess, I would probably say that that law enforcement is really looking at a connection between the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie and Annie and Tommaso's house, if I had to guess, right? Again, I don't know what is going on here. I don't know. I don't know if they're responsible or not. I never want to think that a child could ever hurt, especially, look at their age. They're so much older. Why now? Who would hurt their mom now? So there's a lot of things that I'm, in my brain processing, that really does take the focus away of Annie and Tammaso. Like, I don't really want to believe that they have anything to do with it because, one, I feel, they were the protectors of their mom. They had the most contact with her. I would think that their relationship with her would be so much stronger than with the other siblings because of the proximity to the home. But I have to remember my own family dynamic, and I'm very close, live in proximity wise to family, my family, and I don't see them. So does that necessarily mean? And then it comes back. Like, I've got this right here. It comes back to, why was she really at dinner? Why was she really at dinner? Because if we do, listen, this is where I'm going with this. If we do believe that, say it's Tammaso, okay? Let's just play this tape through. Why would he do it? Why? What would be the motivation? And everybody's going to be screaming, money, 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 right? That's why you're going to most of you guys are going to be screaming, money, money, right? Am I right? If I am, raise your hand, give me a thumbs up or something in the chat, letting me know that you guys agree it's probably money, money, money. So that's what started. Oh, hey, Alicia, Kimberly, I didn't see you guys there. Hi, it's nice to see you. We hope it's board games. We hope everything that they're saying is true, but in these cases, you find out that it's not, and somebody's saying it's not the money, but usually it's the money. So, for me, if we're going to think it's Tammaso, well, let me ask you this, Goldheart. If you don't think, if it is Tammaso, and you're saying if it's Tammaso and not money, then what do you think it would be that would provoke Tammaso to attack his mother-in-law? So this is where I'm going. If your theory is it's Tammaso. Now, again, I just want to be very clear. I'm not taking the theory it is him. I'm taking the theory that it would be somebody like him. For right now, it may turn out to be him. It may turn out to be Annie. Right? It may turn out to be something we're not expecting. It might be some third random person we don't know about, and it's like this aha moment, right? But if it's not money, what do you think it would be? Betty, they could be thinking she's alive, along for life, and they need her resources more. But then the resources are cut off, so yeah, maybe. I've always believed this crime was done out of anger or resentment towards someone. Now, that might be. Maybe they said, hey, Ma, we want to go to this, that, and the other. And she's going to be, but I got a doctor's appointment. Who's going to take me to my doctor's appointment, right? Maybe that could have been what set her off. or set him off. I believe it's him because the sheriff, one of the reasons why they pulled the sheriff and won't let the sheriff talk to the public anymore is because he keeps leaking information that they're not ready to be leaked. And even the federal investigators did the same thing. They weren't going to tell us the time of the ransom, and then he accidentally leaked the fact that the ransom's coming due today at 5 or something. That was on Friday, and then they're like, him and the other FBI had to go walk away and talk about it and say, okay, like, fuck, I accidentally let this go, and so they had and they finally just told us we have the 5 for them on Friday, and then we have another one on Monday, but they didn't elaborate on Monday. Now we're knowing it's 5 o'clock on Monday. So no matter how you look at this, whenever you're in a live situation where you're being asked questions, there's going to be a propensity of leakage, even from professional FBI agents and sheriff's office and sheriffs. They're human beings just like we are. And if we are asked questions and we accidentally have this leakage, they would have the same thing. And it's how we found out, because he knew in his mind that it was a guy. He knew that way back, at the beginning of this case, because when he was on an interview, he goes, only he knows why he did this. And the interviewer said, you said he, do you believe it's a male? And you could kind of see the expression on his face of the, oh shit, I didn't mean to let that go, right? So now we knew back then that this was a male. And it sounded like a male acting alone. Was Annie's name on her mother's bank account possibly? Ooh, could she have found some discrepancies in her banking? I don't even have the dun dun dun. Hold on. Oh, here it is. I guess I forgot to hook it up. I forgot to hook up our sound machine, and it's just now powering on. So, do I have one on here? I do not have one on here. We'll use this one. There we go. I should say missile, right? So that might Sparky do. You know what? That we might be analyzing this case kind of a little backwards too, because maybe we thought it was about money, and maybe it is. Maybe it's about money missing, but it still comes back to what was the real reason she was there for dinner? What was the real reason? And was any jewelry or valuables missing from the house? Not necessarily that they were taken that night, but are there some missing from the house? There very well may be. It seems on Facebook, and I think the internet too, that Annie and her husband aren't even together, according to, I think it was Facebook. I also heard that on comments. I've been hearing that too, folks. I've been hearing that Annie and her husband were having marital problems. I think that this being shocking to Annie. I think Annie, she was with her husband until he became a suspect, and I think she separated even from him because we haven't seen him around with her. Listen, I know Daily Mail, okay? I've been on the sidelines right next to the Daily Mail photographer. I know how he works. I know how he's good, okay? He's good. If he's the dark-haired guy with the shoulder-length hair, oh, he's good. He's good. And I'm pretty sure all of the Daily Mail photographers are as good as this guy. But I've been out there with this guy. So with the Daily Mail running this story, about the possible link or the possibility of them not being together or something like that, I'd have to think that it's a little bit true. But we have a situation where we're hearing that their marriage is fracturing. And maybe he's not even living with her. And if she allowed him to take her mother home and now her mother is missing, they might be thinking this is him as well. All three of those siblings might know that it's now Tammaso and are playing this angle of this ransom stuff to keep the focus off him because Ashley Banfield accused him. And they're probably trying to still keep him engaged and keep him talking. And this may be just a way to make him feel comfortable. This is all speculative. Okay, I'm just throwing some stuff out there. I'm throwing a whole bunch of crap against a wall to see what sticks. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now. And sometimes that's what you got to do when you got a situation of a what the, you know. Sometimes you just gotta throw the proverbial kitchen sink at the wall and see what slides off and what sticks, right? And I'm still trying to figure out if this is true about them splitting up. I can guarantee that it wouldn't be so far-fetched for her to think that this man did this to her mom, especially if they're separating and he's the one that's doing the part-time stuff, folks. You guys understand that? He's the one that's not really working, and she's the breadwinner. Maybe Annie is sick and tired of taking care of his sorry, ungrateful, you know what, right? Maybe after 25 years or after 20 years, she's saying, you got to go, okay? I'm done. I'm ready to do my own thing. You got to go, boo, right? We don't know. We have no clue what is going on in their life. But I will tell you, somebody from like Thomas is what we're looking for in this case. I think somebody closer to home has done something terrible. Look at this beautiful lady's face. I'm sorry, she looks precious. And I realize that this is a little bit AI, you know, with the flame, you know, the brightness around her. But that smile is her smile. Okay? She is a gorgeous 84-year-old woman that did not deserve this. And you know what? I will be honest with you. Although I do get political over stupid stuff, like this light ordinance is bullshit. Okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You know what it is?
That was bullshit.
Just saying. Okay? But at the end of the day, what I saw when this lady disappeared, and people were focusing on her, radiant. That's it. She's radiant. She's just gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's happy. And radiant is exactly the proper word. Absolutely. And it unnerves you, but we do have political stuff going on, right? And there is a lot of hurt feelings, especially out there because Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There was a lot of people that celebrated his assassination, and we're just not like that. You know, if there's a way we can help, we try to help in anything that we can do. And at the end of the day, even seeing some of the things from people that I've respected and respect, right, on my own channels that I repost some of their stuff, hearing some of the stuff that they said about this family and this 84-year-old grandmother, it breaks my heart because, you know, even on our side, where the hell is the humanity gone? I'm not. If I ever get to that point, now I criticize and I'm abrasive with my language and, you know, political, when I'm on political banter and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm abrasive. I'll say something to kick a whole bunch of people out of my chat just to ruffle feathers, right? Just to ruffle feathers and get people talking. That's my job, right? We pull emotion out of people. But it breaks my heart when I see people on both sides of the aisle forget the reality that we're human. And at the end of the day, our politics doesn't matter. If we can't be human first, nothing else matters. This woman deserves a fighting chance. Every missing person deserves a fighting chance. Why does this woman get more attention than another woman? I don't know. It just is what it is. I can't change that, and nor am I going to try. The best thing I can do is keep going with these cases, right? We have this one. This one's breaking news case. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Nancy, okay? I can't change that. But I'm not going to stop the flow of information because people have their feelings hurt or feel like I should be covering a different case or another case or whatever. I'm only as good as my audience. And if my audience are wanting and driving the message and they're saying, we want to hear about Nancy, guess what? I'm going to be talking about Nancy. When they want to talk about Sebastian, we talk about Sebastian. When they want to talk about Lily and Jack Sullivan, we talk about Lily and Jack Sullivan. I really talk about what my audience, and you know how I gauge my audience on what they want to hear? Emails. That's why I get everything funneled into one area. I can always tell what you're interested in by the level of conversations you guys email me. When I get a lot of emails for political stuff, I talk about political stuff. When I get a lot of emails talking about this case, I talk about this case. So you guys really do drive the message here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And I want you guys to know that, because you guys are very powerful with what is being shown on this show. So if you guys want to hear of a case, then bring it to me. If we get enough people to talk about these cases, I will run any case. We're here to help. We're here to, most of the time, like right now, I should be out there in the field looking for this woman, right? Usually we search for people, okay? Where we stand up, we do a lot of different things on this channel. Sometimes we do where we just set up the camera and just monitor the situation and feed you guys as much information that we can humanly find on a case. That's what we do. And other times we are just at the, we're out there in the field and at the mercy of the elements and the leads that we have to help try to find somebody when nobody is looking for an individual. We get out there and we search for them. We put resources from this channel, boots on the ground, to search for these people. Right now, law enforcement is out there, but I don't see any private search groups. I don't see any private search groups out there. And that's what we would be delivering and developing for this, finding out where we need to find places to search and going out there in searches. We don't have that in this case. So I don't know what's going to go on with this case. I feel like it's closer to home. I trust President Trump and his statements. Maybe he knew something a few days ago. Maybe some things have changed, and maybe why they don't have the solution that they thought they had. Things change. When new information is developed, things change. So we might be in a situation like that. But I just want to thank you all for being here and going through this. So let's read this. The situation with their relationship. Yes, I agree with that. There may be something going on with that. We were hearing that there's a possibility that Tammaso has declined to take a polygraph test. That's very concerning for me. That is very, very, very concerning for me. Excuse me, guys, I got to sneeze. I don't know how, well, broadcasters don't stay on for hours at a time in front of your face. So they get to sneeze and drink and cough and everything else. I have to do it on screen. So sorry about that. Our pictures of Nancy current. I'm sure this one is. This one looks a little more older than her other photos. But I don't know. I don't know their life. I don't know who they are. My heart bleeds for them. Seeing Savannah so raw, seeing her whole family it seems like she's taking this all the hardest. Maybe because she might blame herself for this a little bit, maybe thinking that it's because of her. And I think she needs to understand it has nothing to do with her. So people can have problems in families. They don't hurt their family members. They don't, we hire people all the time to take care and trust our family. There's no reason. Millions and millions of people all around this country live exactly the way Nancy lives, and nothing happens to them. Why her? Something happened. And I find it awfully suspect that she was over for dinner, her son-in-law drops her off, and then she vanishes for forever. And that's the reality of it, So, all right, guys. Who said she did? Who said she did what? Who said she did what? That's, I guess, my question. But anyways, guys, I'm going to probably let you go because we're going to do a live at 1 for this. I'll find out where it's at. We'll get it all set up. I've got a little limited time to get everything set up before we have to go live again. We'll go live about 1:45. If you guys want to come back here for the update on this. For my mods, if you guys can send me some information about if we're doing a press conference today. Today's a great day that we need to find out what time the press conference is. So I'll be in the chat for my mods so we can get this worked out for everybody else. If there is a press conference, we will be live on this show, followed by discussion. okay, followed by discussion. We will have discussion afterwards, and this is going to be important. So we'll see you guys back here closer to 1 o'clock this afternoon, and be there or be square. We'll see you soon. God bless.